How you doing, team up? Hard News Murdock. Just to bring up the speed right fast, let me introduce you to one Marjorie Taylor Greene, a 100% conspiracy theorist / QAnon believer. Now I could make a whole video on her crazy ass alone, but just to bring you up to speed, here goes some of her greatest hits.
The Trump-backing Republican embraces completely false QAnon conspiracy theories, and in a newly uncovered video from 2018, claimed former President Obama is Muslim, the Clintons had JFK Jr. killed, and even questioned whether a plane crashed into the Pentagon on 9/11.
It's odd there's never any evidence shown for a plane in the Pentagon.
In a widely shared video from 2019, Greene declaring Pelosi a traitor, implying she should be executed.
It's a crime punishable by death, is what treason is. Nancy Pelosi is guilty of treason.
She's called for the hanging of Barack Obama. She's called for the hanging of Hillary Clinton.
Facebook posts have surfaced in which Greene called the deadly Parkland high school shooting fake, along with video showing her harassing Parkland shooting survivor David Hogg.
Why are you supporting red flag gun laws that attack our Second Amendment rights? How do you get avid gun owners and people that support the Second Amendment to give up their guns and go along with anti-gun legislation? How do you do that? Maybe you accomplish that by performing a mass shooting into a crowd that is very likely to be conservative. Is that what happened in Las Vegas? Q is a patriot. We know that for sure, but we do not know who Q is. People believe that Q is someone very close to President Trump. According to him, many in our government are actively worshiping Satan, or they call Moloch. I mean, is it going to be true that the child pedophilia in the elites in the Washington, D.C., is that what we're really going to see come out? Is it going to be satanic worship? I have a message for Antifa terrorists. Stay the hell out of Northwest Georgia. There is an Islamic invasion into our government offices right now. If you want Islam and Sharia law, you stay over there in the Middle East. You stay there and go to Mecca and do all your thing. And you know what? You can have a whole bunch of wives or goats or sheep or whatever you want.
On a now deleted Facebook post, Greene questioned whether California's deadly campfire in 2018 was started by lasers beamed down from outer space. Lasers, she says, somehow connected to the Rothschilds, the Jewish European banking family, the target of some of the oldest, laziest, most dangerous anti-Semitic tropes on the books, Jewish space lasers.
If we have a sea of people, if we shut down the streets, if we shut down everything, if we flood the Capitol building, flood all the government buildings, go inside. These are public buildings. We own them. We own these buildings. Do you understand that? We own the buildings and we pay all the people that work in the buildings.
Now, since a lot of her beliefs came to light, like Jewish space lasers and calling for the execution of Nancy Pelosi, she has been officially stripped of all of her committee duties in the House, and even 11 Republicans agreed with the Democrats, bringing it up to 230 people that wanted her out. But before that happened, the Republican Party was hard at work trying to make a false equivalency between her statements and some statements made by Ilhan Omar about 2 years ago. Now, I made a video going pretty in-depth about that. I'll leave the link here, and I'll leave a link in the description below for y'all to take a look at. But the long and short of it was, she pointed out AIPAC as a major lobby group that is pushing a lot of our politicians towards a pro-Israel stance. When they asked her why would they be taking the money, she said that it was all about the Benjamins, referring to the song, but it was taken as an anti-Semitic trope. Once she realized what she said, she took it as a learning opportunity and immediately apologized and took this as a moment to learn and grow. So obviously there's a huge difference between her and what's currently going on with QAnon Greene over here. So obviously Ilhan Omar felt the kind of way. They had an interview with her and she goes in on the Republican Party and the right as a whole. It's glorious. Take a look for yourself.
Representative Congresswoman, did you expect that you would be pulled into this because you have become kind of the a go-to figure in these moments for the Republican Party?
Sadly, this is the Republican playbook. We saw it with Donald Trump, that anytime they are faced with consequences for their actions to undermine our democracy, they blame Muslims, they blame immigrants, they blame Black people, they blame women. I just happen to embody all of these identities. And I just want to make sure Chris, that we are clear on this. This is not about me, and it should not be about me. This is about a member of the Republican caucus who has repeatedly incited violence, and Republicans can't just wave a magic wand and attack the Black Congresswoman.
It was notable that there's been a fundraising effort using you. The fundraising, he complained the Democrats are trying to expel me from Congress. And it was interesting, the Democrat behind her there is you, not, Speaker Pelosi or House leadership. I think everyone understands what that's about. I guess my question is this. There's this dynamic that functions now where she will use this attention, right? And this sort of oppositional to fundraise. Like, do you think about breaking out of this cycle and how to do it, if there's any way out of it?
No, I mean, the Republicans truly have lost their way. Their party is destroyed. Their base now is conspiracy theorists, it's cowards, it's opportunists, it's grifters, and sadly, they're becoming the Looney Tunes. These are people who we can't take serious. They're not here to do the people's business. They are here to just be obstructionists and make a mockery of not just our government, but our country.
There is, of course, this individual congresswoman who is the subject of this question today in this House Rules Committee attracted attention. She ran because of this ad with her with a gun next to you and other Democratic lawmakers. And, it just seems to me that and you tweeted about this, about feeling like this sense of threat or menace. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez talked about this. We saw it embodied in January 6th. This is not theoretical. But just the degree to which the idea of physical intimidation, the threat of violence, of menace, of armed people has entered into the oxygen, the atmosphere of the building and the place you work, that should be a question of sort of debating politics.
Yeah, I mean, and so many people have asked, could there be violence? Could this lead to violence? And, they seem to forget that 5 people have already lost their lives in the events of January 6th, including a Capitol Police officer. Hundreds more people could have. We currently have members of Congress who are moving their offices away because they fear for their lives. Alex talked about the trauma that she's living with and has lived with since January 6th. I sent a text message to my ex-husband and told him, if I don't make it out, please make sure you tell my children I love them. This is not a joke. This is not a game. These people are threatening to our environment. They are threatening our ability to do our work. They are really making it hard for people to survive and exist in a free democracy where debate and discourse is supposed to be celebrated. We are now living in a situation where every single caucus conversation, it's about, where can we find resources for security? How are we supposed to check if our panic buttons are working? Can we buddy up and walk the hallways because we are afraid of our own colleagues? This is insane. No other work environment that is this toxic would sustain itself, and we can't sustain ourselves as members of Congress in this situation.
Now, that's what it looks like when you have a politician that don't take money from corporations or lobbyists, and she's actually there for the people because that's who she represents, and she can speak her mind freely because she's obviously not there to play politics. She's there to get a job done, and that's all she's about. And with that, that's all I have. Like and subscribe if you like what you see. Remember, the revolution is unclassified. Later.